What's going on, guys? Ryan here, and today I want to tell you the story about the time my house caught on fire. So a few days ago, I decided that I should probably tell you guys about the time my house caught on fire so you know more about me. So this happened back in 2009 on October 19th, and it was a Monday. Today is Saturday, October 23rd, and so it's pretty good timing in my opinion. I kind of wish I did it last week or, on the 19th, but whatever. Let's get into it. I'm not going to try to make this video super long. I want to do it pretty short, pretty quick, just so you guys don't have to sit here for 15-20 minutes learning about my house. So to get started, I was 10 years old. I was in 5th grade, and in our school district, that would be intermediate school. So it was just any regular day. It was just this fall, really crisp fall morning, and for some reason, let me know in the comments below if this happens to you, but there's days that I go outside, like more specifically mornings, and it smells and feels like a morning before school. I don't know what it is, but I get this feeling sometimes, and I really only get it on the weekdays, and those are the days that I went to school. I just want to see if anyone else has that experience, so I'm not the only one. So anyways, basically, same thing every day, every morning, just getting up, getting ready, going to school. I go to school. I think my mom took me that morning. I was outside in the playground hanging out with my best friend Alex, and when the bell rang and we were all heading indoors, off in the distance I heard sirens. And where I used to live, all the sirens, actually where I live now, all the sirens are the same. Fire, ambulance, police, they're all the same type of siren. And when I heard that, for some reason, I said, wow, I'm glad that's not me. And I think what I was trying to say, or what I really meant, was I'm glad that ambulance or police aren't coming after me. I'm glad I'm not dead or I'm dying and the ambulance is coming. I'm glad I'm not in trouble so the police aren't coming. But I had no idea that it could have been fire. Like a fire truck, and it could have been me. So we go inside, and we're just sitting there in the classroom. The teacher got a call, said that my mom was here to check me out, and I thought that was really weird. I've been here not that long, and my mom was the one that dropped me off, and she's here to pick me up. It's really weird. So I head to the door. The classroom had a front door that leads to the hallway in the rest of the school, and then a back door that leads to outside. And that classroom is actually right next to the front doors of the school itself, so that's where the office is. So I just went to that door because that's where my mom was. I opened it and I saw my mom there, and she looked like she's been crying. And I was like, Mom, what's wrong? And I think the second I said that, she kind of started crying a little bit more and said, Ryan, the house caught on fire. And as a kid, or even just now, when you hear someone tell you the house caught on fire, you don't think that's real. You think that something else is going on, something else happened. You just don't think it would ever happen to you. I was like, what? And when she said that, everything stopped, and I had those thoughts. And we kept walking, and she told me that my sister was already in the car, and it wasn't even her van. It was actually her coworker's van, one of her best friends from work. She drove us to the house, and on the way there, my sister was just bawling. I mean, she was just bawling her eyes out, and for good reason. For some reason, I don't think I ever even cried. I don't remember when I started crying about the fire, but obviously it was years after. It wasn't getting through my head of what this meant for my family, for me, for everything. So we head there. My mom and me are trying to calm my sister down, but she's not calming down at all. She's just bawling her eyes out, like I said. We almost get to the house, and I could tell there's still some smoke coming up, and I was like, oh my God, that is my house. And the siren that I heard that morning was for me. It was a fire truck. We go up the driveway. We see my grandparents and my dad standing there watching the firefighters do their job. The fire truck, and I think there was probably another smaller fire truck, and just a bunch of people working on the house. You know, there were people on the roof cutting holes in it and spraying water down. But we were all just standing there watching and waiting. Then my oldest sister came. I don't know if she was already there or she came later. But after a while, you know, the fire was no more, and the firefighters were checking everything. And my sister and I decided to go onto the porch, and we had like a wraparound porch in my house. And we went to the family room door, which was connected to the porch, obviously, and with French doors, and it was open. We looked in, and actually, I think one of my sisters or me decided to go in to just check something and then run back out, because we weren't supposed to be in there yet, because we weren't told if it was okay from the firefighters. Because obviously a house that was on fire, you need to make sure that there's no more fire and that the house is structurally sound so it doesn't fall on us. And so almost like immediately after I came back out, there was a firefighter that came and told us it's okay to come in. And we're going in, we're looking at everything. It's all smoke, water damage, and sometimes even fire damage, depending on where it was. I'm checking all the rooms. I go up to my room, and my bed's completely soaked and dirty, and all my stuff was smoke damaged. It was just crazy. And I did act like, I was kind of going through it in my head, acting like, what would it be like if I was there during the fire? So knowing where the fire was, which was in the kitchen, and my sister's room was right above the kitchen, and my room was right across from hers. You know, it was just crazy going up and down the stairs, going in the kitchen, looking at all the stuff. The fridge doors were melted off. The eggs, like I think the eggshells were so delicate that they just crumbled, but the eggs inside were fine. The cereal boxes in the cabinet, those were so, like, you touch it and they just dust. It was crazy. There's things that were melted that I didn't even think that could melt. And the kitchen was just completely just ruined. We just go through some stuff. My mom told me, you know, there's a few things I can grab that I wanted to keep right away, and I grabbed a few things, like my watch, I think, and a couple other things, but it was crazy. I have been showing you pictures of some of the stuff. I don't have all the pictures. I think most of them are physical, and I don't have them. My dad does, and he lives about 45 minutes away from me, and I didn't even think about asking him for them. So maybe I can show you in another time for another, like, a part 2, because the house itself, that story, is just the first part of the whole thing. Obviously, our house, we couldn't stay there that night, and I think almost immediately we stayed at the hotel there in town, which was really weird, because like a few days later I started to go back to school. So it happened on a Monday. I think I went back to school Thursday and Friday. My sister missed that whole week, and I'm not sure if she missed the next week or part of the next week. She was older. She knew kind of what happened and how it would affect our lives and stuff. And so she didn't go to school, but I did. I got all my homework for that week, and I did it at the hotel and whatever. Yeah, so what happened? I don't remember if we found out that day or we found out like days later or weeks later, but the firefighters seemed to think that it was the toaster. Now, for some reason, the toaster sparked, and I think it was the wire. It was a really old toaster, and kind of like moving it in and out of its place would bend the wire back and forth, and for years and years and years of doing that, I think it cracked and the wire was exposed. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly how this would have worked, but it sparked, caught the paper towels on fire because they were right next to it, and then caught the cabinet and the rest of the kitchen on fire. And the house did not, like I kind of talked about, the house didn't like burn down to the ground. And my dad later on said that he wished it had burned down to the ground because insurance was a huge problem. I don't remember who it was, what insurance company it was, but it was pretty local. And they screwed us so hard. And the process of trying to get that done and the claim put in and inventory really sucked. But that could be for another video. That could be a part 2 if you guys wanted to see it. Let me know below. But yeah, so the toaster. it was the toaster's fault. I'm not quite sure if it was my mom or my dad, but that morning we had waffles or whatever my dad made for me. And I think he just kind of wiped around it, like dads occasionally do. And my mom, I think she like lifted it up or moved it out and wiped underneath it and behind it, then pushed it back. And I think that was the last straw. Now all of that happened, and that's what I remember happening. So I could be wrong about a few things about who did what or when it was or whatever, but it was October 19th, 2009. So yeah, that is the story. I guess more for part 2 if you want. Like I said, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that'll be it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to smack the like button as hard as you can. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, help me a lot. I will see you guys all next time. That is not how it usually goes, but